Hey guys, we are here at Pocket Gamer Connects in San Francisco 2017. I'm being joined by Pap Jake, off of that YouTube, and David from Hive Games. Now, you guys have just done one of the talks in track one, and you've been talking about pushing games out there using platforms like YouTube. I'll start with you, David. Rather than going to a traditional kind of publishing, advertising route, why did you think that YouTube was the right kind of avenue for you?
Yeah, really good question. So, the big challenge we're facing, I think, just as a mobile gaming industry is you got more than 500 new apps a day. It's become, incredibly expensive to acquire people through Facebook and through kind of traditional performance-based marketing channels. And so we're looking for ways, where are there already audiences, people who are passionate about gaming. We know if you like gaming in general, you probably actually like playing on mobile. There's kind of this, I think, sometimes a myth that there's mobile gamers and there's console gamers. No, there's just gamers who play different ways, different times. And so, looking at YouTube influencers, we've found that that's an opportunity to find a partner you can work with who can really be an authentic representative for the game, actually really tell people about it in a deep way and get them excited in a way that, I think actually gets people more invested in the game and more likely to check it out than just seeing a static ad or seeing a 15-second video snippet somewhere.
And Jake, you've built a YouTube channel, healthy subscriber base there. What do you think helps people engage with the videos you make? What trends do you notice based on the kind of games you play versus the kind of reaction you get?
Yeah, I think for us being extremely genuine with our content, making sure that viewers know that we're having fun with what we're doing, whether we're playing a mobile game or a console game or even just doing a fun vlog, showing that it's just us as our true selves is probably the most important thing, because that's really what drives the influence that we have versus kind of faking it.
Yeah, it can be quite obvious sometimes when people are just with the big cheese-eating grin
Yes.
and the fake smile. So you guys are working on games. I think at the moment you got something on the horizon that you're looking towards to do. And when you were looking at the options and you went, right, we're going to go to YouTube, did you take advice from other people who'd made games? What do you think is the biggest mistake that people make when going in to try and connect with an audience?
That's a good question. So I think, the biggest mistake people make is sort of not doing their homework. So just looking and going, oh, you know what, this person has 1 million followers or 2 million followers, so let's partner with them and have them do something. I think you really need to actually take some time, spend time on the channel, understand what kind of videos do they do, how do they talk about them, what type of games do they like, what type of games do their audience like, and make sure it's actually a fit for what you're doing, so that you can have, kind of to the point you guys were just making, an authentic partnership where they're going to be talking about your game and they're going to be legitimately excited about it, and not just saying, my sponsors have now paid me to tell you this is great. Because that's, I think, where a lot of this falls down, is when things are not authentic, right? And audiences today are incredibly savvy, and all of us, we know what advertising looks like. We don't want to be tricked. We want to actually hear from someone we trust that they legitimately believe something is cool and interesting. And so you got to find a partner who's going to be a right fit to help you do that.
Gotcha. We've seen more and more with developers starting to hold back copies of games for review. Bethesda famously has decided to not release these games early to the press, but they are handing them out sometimes to influencers and YouTubers and the general public. Do you think, as a YouTuber and a person who plays these games, do you think that is a good thing for the industry, or do you think that kind of opens it up to a little bit of questionable ethics, let's say?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest difference between a company that's going to review a game and us is kind of going back to, it's different for every YouTuber, but it's very genuine. I'm going to play a game, I'm not talking about the graphics or the smoke and how the pixels work or anything like that. I'm just having fun, or I'm not having fun. It's really just, and our viewers can tell, right? If the game's kind of a bomb, and I'm going to say that, if it's a paid deal or something like that, it might be different. But in the case of something like Bethesda, when they hand you a copy of the game, it's generally, hey, check out our game and give us your honest opinion. And I think a lot of developers even now are looking at us and being like, well, yeah, what didn't you like, or what did you like? Or they'll watch my 2-hour-long stream to see, where did he get frustrated or where did he get stuck? So I think it's just a different way to kind of market it.
When do you guys think is the right time to push it? Because I know some people tend to like long lead-in campaigns. Some people want to just drop it on day one and surprise everybody. I mean, both tactics have seemed to work and fail. What do you lean towards?
I mean, on the mobile side, I think it's getting earlier and earlier on mobile. So, a couple of years ago, you really didn't see any discussion of new mobile games until, okay, it's dropped, it's live, you can play it now. But now, whether it's things like Super Mario Run or other games that have been upcoming, you're seeing a lot more working with people early to actually get some brand awareness, because people don't know it's coming. Again, the App Store is so crowded. There's so many options out there that it's incredibly hard for someone to just casually notice that a game is there. So I think there's an increasing need to have that conversation earlier and really get on people's minds if you want your game to have a big audience from the start. And if on the flip side, if you're looking for more of a slow growth over time kind of approach, if you're still working on the game, then actually I think there can be real benefit to kind of waiting, get it live. And then I think the point Jake made about actually giving the game to YouTubers, not just sort of as a marketing method, but as a way to get feedback both from them and their audience, I think is an incredibly smart approach. And if companies are worried that the press will be harsh with them, no one will be harsher than that comment section if the game doesn't live up to what it's supposed to be. So, you can get very real feedback, very actionable feedback from those audiences, and I think it's a great approach.
When it comes to live streaming games or making videos, I mean, there has been a massive rise in the mobile streaming. It's something that we do on the Pocket Gamer channels and stuff like that, and it's only sort of the past maybe 3 years, 4 years, where you've seen a real rise of things like Vainglory coming out as multiplayer MOBAs, Clash Royale being esports on mobile. Do you think that is where it's going? Are you going to be spending more time covering mobile stuff, or do you think that the PC realm is still where most of the streamers lie?
Yeah, no, for us, I think it's definitely something we're starting to focus on more, just because of, obviously there's huge player bases, but it's just more fun to know that, if we're playing a game, our viewers just have super easy access to it, so they can jump on and start playing. Or if I'm stuck at a certain part in the game, I can say like, yo guys, I need some help, and they're like, all right, right here, I got it, versus I gotta go boot up the Xbox. So I think just how easy it is for our viewers to access it, whether it's to play along with us or after the fact, it makes a huge difference.
Okay. And for the future, there's a couple of things I'm asking everybody. Like, I don't think you can talk about what you're working on at the minute, right? Yeah. You guys, I assume you're in the process of continuing to grow the channel and everything like that. What games are you playing at the moment? I'm going to ask everybody this, but what's the one game that you're attached to right now?
What's the one game I'm attached to right now? Still playing a fair amount of Clash Royale. I just love it's just minute to minute fun. When I have 4 minutes and can just sit and play a game. So I'm really enjoying that. And then I'm just in kind of this perpetual loop is a lot of just the smaller indie games, a lot of the story-based stuff. I think that's something I'm really keeping an eye on, is that I'm starting to see a lot more story on mobile, which really, wasn't the case a while ago. And so I'm really enjoying jumping into some of the different games that have started to pop up. I want to say it's Old Man, I think, is one that...
I was just about to say, I was playing that on the plane here. Yeah. Such an amazing game.
It's lovely.
Yeah. Really great game.
So things like that I may not, I don't know that I'll keep playing that for months, but to just experience that kind of story on mobile is really cool.
You're seeing a rise of that old-style point-and-click adventure where it's 2D, you're interacting, especially Old Man's Journey, moving from the foreground to the background, and that adjusting the terrain is a really nice kind of way of doing it. And Jake, what do you lean towards? If you want to stream something, what do you tend to go for if you're going to do it?
Yeah, if I'm streaming, I definitely like to focus on, I play the games that I play personally are kind of along that line, like story, kind of slower pace. But I know if I'm streaming, my fans want fast pace, so I'll do a lot of Clash Royale, that sort of stuff, because it is very quick. So that's definitely something that I try to play, and I like games that I can kind of tell a different story. It's not just straightforward. Everyone has the same puzzle that they have to complete, and that kind of, when I think of games like that, it's Clash Royale, but also Pokemon Go. If I'm out searching, my experience is going to be totally different than anyone else's experience.
Yeah. And finally, coming to a place like this, these conferences, I mean, from both of your perspectives, what is the benefit of going and dealing with people physically? We're gamers, people tend to spend a lot of time indoors or sitting behind cameras and microphones on your own.
I'm very pale on the camera.
I mean, for the record, we are indoors.
That's true.
Again.
It's not a festival.
No, we managed to maintain the same space.
Yes.
But actually going out and physically meeting people. And I think some people are wary of doing it. What are the benefits as either a developer or a content producer of coming out and actually dealing with people face to face?
I can jump in. So, I mean, I think I always find, as much as technology allows us to connect over vast distances really easily, there's just something about being face to face and the conversations you have that they just go to a different level. Like, we might never have stumbled onto that we're both playing Old Man's Journey if we were Skyping, right? Because we'd talk about what we needed to talk about, and we'd be like, okay, great, that was nice, but we're not going to just kind of continue that conversation. And so I've always found, like, working on creative development, when we have ideas, being able to go out and talk to people, hear what they're doing, hear what they're working on, and just kind of have that exchange of like what's top of mind for you, what's happening. It's just always more casual when you're in person, in a way that allows new ideas and kind of different things to bubble up that I often find super inspirational and really help me kind of get off a linear thinking path. And some of I think some of our most creative ideas or best insights have come from just having face-to-face conversations with people in settings like this.